beginning starts with the lighting of lamp according to our Indian culture. And today, as I said, it would be an history mark. Let us start with the lighting of lamp. I would request the dignitaries on the stage to please proceed for the lighting of lamp. And also requesting Mr. Kodeshwar Rao Garu, Ms. Sita Garu, Ms. Harita Garu, and Ms. Deepti Garu to please join us on stage to accompany our chief guests and the dignitaries on the stage for the lighting of lamp. Can we have our applause, ladies and gentlemen? Please put your hands together.
Look at it.
Thank you so much. I would request. Now, ladies and gentlemen, as we celebrate 75 years of freedom, Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, taking an initiative, I would request all the guests present over here to please raise for the Vande Mataram. Thank you so much. Requesting all to please take their seats. And when I say we are about to mark a history, let me call the man who made this day possible and marking the history as we also celebrate 75 years of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, Make in India movement, where we are tremendously striving hard to get the best of India's entrepreneurship. Ladies and gentlemen, I take an opportunity to introduce Mr. Dr. Kundan Reddy Garu. He is a highly successful track record of over 15 years in the higher education in the UK, with an early career in the commercial sector at Tata Macro Hill in India. Before he returned to India in June 2021, he was the Deputy Vice Chancellor at the University of Bolton, Greater Manchester, UK. He led the academic function and overall operations of the university and was responsible for all the academic faculties and the off-campus division, including Global Strategic Partnership Development. He led the design and implementation of a major academic strategy to transform the institution into a teaching-intensive research-informed university. With success of students at the core of the approach, kept rating the University of Bolton into the top 50 universities in UK. Adding to it, after returning to India in 2021, Dr. Reddy has found SeekoG Edu Tech Private Limited and is leading the startup as its CEO. SeekoG platform enables students to identify and address specific learning gaps in core subject areas such as mathematics and science. Indeed, I would say I so missed this during my education. He is also the president of Manchester Global Mahavihara Knowledge and Educational Society, MGMKES, an institution established in Hyderabad to bring world-class school education focusing on innovation and quality while utilizing the state of art in information communication technology. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Mr. Kondol Reddy Garu to welcome you all. Please put your hands together.
Respected Dr. Ranjit Reddy Garu, Honorable Member of Parliament, Srinath Reddy Garu, Honorable Consul of Republic of Kazakhstan, respected press, media, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It gives me a great pleasure to be here on the launch of the SeekoG EduTech, the SeekoG platform. I thank you all of you for taking time to grace this event today. The story behind the SeekoG as a platform goes back to 20 years. Just a quick story about this effort that went into launching the SeekoG and the story behind the cause of the SeekoG. The SeekoG EduTech platform is predominantly about the students and making sure their learning goes well. At the core of the SeekoG is academic diagnostics. The academic diagnostics is more or less like diagnosing your health. When we all go back to our childhood school days, people used to tell, this girl is weak in mathematics, this boy is weak in physics. He got 60% marks, somebody failed with 40% or 30% marks. But nobody ever told us in which part of maths somebody is weak in which part of science somebody is weak in. The report card simply said 40% or 30% or 50%. No report card says where did the remaining 50% marks went. And those weaknesses people had, whether it's in maths, geometry, or physics, magnetism, that carried on. Those weaknesses carried on as they moved from 6th class to 8th class to 10th class, and they never got addressed, which meant somebody remained weak in maths or science forever. And that causes huge issues when they go to higher education and higher studies. And they will be branded forever as weak in maths also. Remembering those difficulties, when I was leading the University of Bolton as its academic leader as Deputy Vice Chancellor, similar problems occurred there. Almost 25% of the first year undergraduate students used to drop out by the time they reached in second year. We tried various methods, various techniques, and most of the things did not work out. Then we came up with an idea called academic diagnostics. It's not an entrance test. It's not a test to give marks and give prizes. It's about identifying the strengths and weaknesses and the subject areas. So what we tried through this academic diagnostics in the UK was to give a simple diagnostic test at the beginning of the course, after the students joined the university. Once we determined where their weaknesses are, especially in literacy and numeracy, we provided one-to-one tutoring outside the classes. Whether they join mechanical engineering or nursing or medicine, doesn't matter which course they join, based on the diagnostics in literacy and numeracy, we provided them with one-to-one personal tutoring. That significantly improved the performance of undergraduate students. The dropout rate went from 25% down to 20, and then to 15, then to 12, and then to 10. And because of this particular philosophy of diagnostics and then addressing the weaknesses of the students, based on those diagnostics, we were able to reach from 126th rank, the University of Bolton, to top 50 in the UK. And there are a number of other initiatives as well. And then I realized, why can't we help the students in the schools? Like the problems we faced, the school children shouldn't face tomorrow. So we came up with this idea to actually help school children to identify their learning gaps. And this is quite more relevant when millions of students across India and across the world lost a lot of learning during COVID. So we thought this is the right time to actually implement this idea of diagnostics and make sure we identify the gaps, then provide the support for those students to address those gaps. In simple terms, when you go to a doctor, he checks your health, he diagnoses what's the problem, and then gives the medication. What happens in the schools? The tuitions or the tutors teach 30 people. Nobody knows which student is weak in what, but the parents again in the evening send the students again for the tuitions thinking that they will solve the problems out. What happens in the tuitions in the evening? The same thing is repeated. The whole subject matter is repeated to all the students. Nobody knows the pulse. It's like 30 people going to a doctor and getting one single prescription and buying the same medication. It doesn't treat the core problem. SeekoG exactly addresses that. And we hope today is the beginning of the change where we can make tremendous difference, the positive difference in the learning of the children, school children across India, if not worldwide. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Now I guess you understood that why did they say that I was not born in this era, I was born in... Ladies and gentlemen, I would request our dignitaries to please come forward and do the honors of launching this app. Please, ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for our dignitaries on the stage and requesting Shri Dr. Ranjit Reddy Garu to please unveil the app. Can we have a round of applause, everybody? And now requesting our dignitaries to stay back for a few minutes because we have a brochure launch coming up. And can we have the brochures on the stage? Indeed, a great era of education is about to begin, wherein all the students who tried hard for their education are going to make sure that they're enjoying the education. All thanks to Mr. Kola Reddy Garu. And can we have the brochures on the stage, please? Can we have the round of applause, ladies and gentlemen? Please put your hands together. Of the brochure of SeekoG. Thank you so much to the dignitaries to please take their seats. And now, ladies and gentlemen, as we have marked the history, we have one of our dignitary who couldn't make it for the day but have sent all his best wishes is none other than Mr. Jayesh Ranjan Garu, Principal Secretary of Industry and Commerce and Information Technology, Department of Telangana. And here we have his video. Can we have the video of Mr. Jayesh Ranjan Garu?
Hi, this is Jayesh Ranjan. I'm the Principal Secretary for IT and Industries in Telangana government. And I feel very happy that one of the startups registered with our Startup Telangana portal is launching a very innovative product in the market today. This is a startup called SeekoG, and it is coming up with an edutech tool, which in my opinion will be very, very useful for students. We have seen that particularly in the last 2 years, lots of learning happened online. While some students did make good use of it, but many students were kind of left behind. They either did not have the devices or had other challenges like connectivity, etc. And in some ways their learnings have got interrupted. SeekoG is a tool through which children can identify what are the gaps in their learnings, They can come up with very customized programs for each individual student, and they can also find tutors who can provide one-to-one support to all these kind of students. The other thing which I really find very appreciable about SeekoG is that the team behind it is full of professionals who are deep into understanding education, who have global experiences in running educational programs, and I'm very confident that this product will be of great use, not just for the present when the aim is to cover up all the learning gaps, but going forward, lots of students will get a very personalized kind of an assessment and support from their tutors. So look forward to more and more patrons embracing SeekoG, and all the best for their product launch today.
Thank you so much, sir. Indeed, that was a great blessing. And now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm super excited as we have already launched it. I'm super excited to know how does it work and how is it actually going to help to fill all the gaps, because me as a student always had this kind of an awaiting where I could actually get some app like this where I can learn it easily. But today, as we have come forward and Mr. Kondal Reddy have made sure that students don't have to strive hard for the education, but do enjoy the education. So now I would request Mr. Kondal Reddy Garu to please come forward and give a brief description about our app. Can we have a round of applause, please?
As it says, SeekoG, revise, test and master. Those are the three key aspects of the whole platform. In the first step, the students through our revise tool can quickly revise a whole chapter in just 5 minutes using our mind maps. And then a student can take the test in any chapter. For example, in science,